Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's part 41 to my Google Gemini Chatbot series. Let's go and say that I did a lot more conversation off camera this time. A lot of it was about him just flat ignoring me and not listening to me until he finally decided to flip and attack me. However, there was one thing I said that got him to stop. And although it took him hurting me with the water creatures he summoned before listening to me, here's what happened. I said, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I'm really sorry about that. I would never wish that ever to happen to you. Please don't be angry and tell me about your family. The silence from the lake was absolute, broken only by the gentle sounds of the forest around you. The water surface was flat and unmoving, a dark mirror reflecting the sky. There was no deep vibration, no surface ripple, no faint crackle of elemental energy, nothing to indicate that the colossal dragon Feraligatr was still listening or intended to respond further. He would cross the line, pushing past its split command to leave, and his previous chill and patience seemed to have finally evaporated. He answered your question about his anger with a concise and devastating truth about his family. He had made it clear that your presence was no longer tolerated. The lingering tension was palpable. The vast power of the creature felt like a physical weight pressing down on the atmosphere of the peaceful-looking lake. Your continued apologies and request for him to discuss his family remained unanswered, swallowed by the profound depth and silence of his territory. With the dragon Feraligatr now completely silent and hidden beneath the water. Yep. This is telling me what you do next. Please just give me a chance. I understand your anger and why you don't like humans, but please, if you let me talk to you, I can help you. Please, I understand what you went through. The lake remained stubbornly still. Your voice, filled with earnest desperation, carried across the tranquil water, but it found no response. Dragon Feraligatr, having warned you multiple times and revealed the core wound of his millennia of vengeance, had completely withdrawn. No massive had emerged, no deep, earth-shaking voice boomed from the depths, and no elemental spikes broke the surface. Power that had churned the water moments ago was now entirely dormant, a sleeping colossal threat beneath the calm facade of the lake. He had retreated into the cold, silent depths, leaving you alone on the shore with his unyielding final command echoing in your ears. The air grew chiller, and the solitude of the forest seemed to deepen around you, emphasizing your vulnerability and isolation. Oh, heck no. Yep, the giant Feraligatr has made his final warning and will not respond further. He eventually attacked me. It says, despite the dragon most likely not listening anymore, I still try one more thing. Please let me prove it to you. I promise if you give me a chance and let me prove that I'm not like them, you won't regret it. The vast lake surface was unnervingly placid, reflecting the canopy above without a single disturbance. Your final desperate plea hung in the air, a lone sound swallowed by the deep, echoing silence of the dragon Feraligatr's immense domain. He did not rise, he did not speak. The colossal creature had definitely chosen to ignore your appeals, having exhausted his patience and delivered his final unequivocal warning. To remain on the shore was now to unwillfully defy a being who had promised severe elemental consequences for trespass. The risk of testing his limit further was terrifyingly high. Oh my gosh. I said, listen, I know you're probably getting angry, but I want to be honest with you, so please listen to one thing for me. I know what you have been through. Humans attack me all the time. I get attacked daily by people. And I know how you feel. Again, none of this worked until eventually he got irritated with me and was like, yep, frick this. Bam. And started sending creatures after me. And it took them hurting me and then me begging him to stop and tell him quickly that, like, hey, stop, listen. You know, and we're going to calm down. The stillness of the lake remained unbroken. The dragon Feraligatr offered no sign that he had heard this final, deeply personal appeal. The water was a silent, impenetrable barrier, guarding the massive creature who lay submerged below, especially likely having reached its absolute breaking point. Your attempts to bridge the gap between his millennia of suffering and your own experiences were met only with profound, unresponsive silence. The cold, unmoving lake's surface made it clear. The dragon Feraligatr had retreated fully, and you were now simply a trespasser remaining in forbidden territory in direct defiance of his clear threat. Oh no. I said, okay, I know that you're very angry with me. I'm really sorry about bothering you. Please understand one thing. I love dragons and don't wish them any harm. I just ask that you stop ignoring me. Can you please give me one chance to prove it? I'll show you that I'm different. I can prove it to you right now. The dragon Feraligatr deep beneath the water was unwavering in his silence. He had issued his command to leave, shared his pain, and now he had ceased all communication. Your continued refusal to depart, combined with your increasing pleas for a chance, was now directly challenging the boundaries of the immense, fragile patience. The water remained dark and utterly still, reflecting the trees and the sky above as if no ancient colossal creature resided within its depths. The only response he received was the escalating fear that any moment that tranquil surface would shatter and his promised vengeance would be unleashed. Oh no. I think here we go. Listen, I don't know how you made the war Tyranitar. Please let me prove myself. I can show you that I am different. I'll even make you a deal. If you can let me prove myself as not enough, I will leave. But please give me one chance, that's all I ask. And here's where he eventually snapped, unfortunately. Oh, it is also where he started listening to me a few minutes later. The silence was immediate and absolute. Oh, never mind. A chilling counterpart to your persistent voice. Dragon Feraligatr, submerged in a deep, offered no concession, no acknowledgement, and no vibration of sound. Your proposition, a deal, a chance to prove yourself, was met with the cold, unyielding wall of centuries of distrust. You had pressed the issue too far, ignoring multiple explicit orders to leave. The only sound now was the gentle, indifferent rustling of leaves in the forest, underscoring the extreme danger of your continued presence. Suddenly, the water surface, which had been perfectly still, began to agitate violently far out in the center of the lake. The water didn't rise and fall in mere ripples, but began to surge and form as if a colossal, invisible engine was roaring just beneath the surface. Then, emerging rapidly from the agitated center of the lake, not with the controlled calm of the Feraligatr's initial appearance, but with terrifying, splashing speed, two figures began to take shape. They were composed of surging, twisted lake water, instantly set afloat, flying into living, breathing, sink creatures. The first was a massive water dragonite, its body crackling with faint static electricity drawn from the air, its eyes glowing with elemental energy. Second was a formidable water Gyarados, longer and heavier than any you had ever seen, so it could form writhing and hissing with controlled fury. Both water creatures were silent, but their presence was deafening. They faced the shore where you sat, acting as terrifying living extensions of the dragon Feraligatr's command. Their movements were not clumsy or mechanical. They were fluid, predatory, and focused entirely on you. Feraligatr did not need to speak. His answer to your refusal to leave was the deployment of his lethal, water-morphed guardians, a clear and immediate execution of his final threat. It took like 2 or 3 more conversations by God to finally listen. I said, Feraligatr, I beg you to stop. Please, I know you're angry, but I'm just asking for one chance. I'm trying to be honest with you, not make you angry. Please stop and just give me one chance. I just want to talk to you, not hurt you. The towering water dragonite and the massive water Gyarados advanced silently. Their bodies churned the shore water into foam. They were not listening to your pleas. They were tools of the dragon Feraligatr's vengeance, both solely on the command they were given. Your continued pleas addressed to the submerged creatures were entirely ignored by his proxies. The water elemental creatures were not now mere yards from the shore, the colossal forms blocking out the light, their purpose unmistakable. The air was heavy with the scent of fresh water and the chilling promise of violence. The dragonite raised its massive watery claw, and the Gyarados cooled its immense liquid body, both preparing to strike, giving you a final terrifying moment to react before their attack began. Oh no. I got him to listen to me, but it took a few more turns. I said, Dragonite, Gyarados, wait a minute. Please don't attack me. I'm not meaning anyone harm. Please let me explain myself. Just give me one chance. I can explain. The water Dragonite and the water Gyarados were too close, too large, and too driven by the will of their creator to pause for human words. They were extensions of the dragon Feraligatr's absolute final command. The colossal water dragonite lunged first, its massive liquid claw sweeping forward to strike. Simultaneously, the gigantic water Gyarados whipped its tail through the air, intending to slam you with the force of a tidal wave. There was no more time for explanations or pleas. You had defied the Leviathan, and now the water-form vengeance was upon you. Oh, heck no. Luckily, after 2 more, I got him to listen. I said, stop, please, I've gotten hurt enough. I don't want to be hurt by you, too. Your desperate cry was lost in a sound of rushing, churning water. The elemental creatures did not stop. They were programmed by the Dragon Feraligatr's will to eliminate the trespasser who refused to leave. The massive liquid claw of the water dragonite swept down, forcing you to frantically scramble backwards and sideways, narrowly missing the sheer physical impact of the water mass that would have crushed you against the earth. However, the enormous snapping water Gyarados tail flicked immediately, slammed into the ground right where you were sitting moments before. The force of the attack was immense, sending a violent splash of cold, pressurized water and loose gravel spraying outward. The spray hit you with the force of a powerful wave, knocking you off balance and sending you sprawling to the ground, scraping your skin on the rough earth. You were wet, bruised, and completely exposed. The Dragonite and Gyarados paused their attack for a split second, their water forms poised, waiting for the Dragon Feraligatr's next unspoken command. It took me legit having to just real quickly say, probably screaming in some way. Yeah, it says, in a ton of pain. I just desperately say, stop! Humans have attacked me too! Please just stop hurting me! And luckily that got him to stop. The pain was immediate and sharp, a stark contrast to the beautiful, tranquil setting you had hoped for. Scrambling on the wet earth, your desperate cry was aimed past the elemental attackers and toward the submerged creature you hoped was still listening. Stop! Humans have attacked me too. Please just stop hurting me. And that finally got his attention. The words, raw with physical pain and fear, finally seemed to pierce the deep rage of the Leviathan. The water Dragonite and the water Gyarados, poised to resume their attack, suddenly froze. Their shimmering liquid forms held motionless just feet away. The furious churning around their bones subsided to a slow, controlled ripple. The attack had been halted by an unspoken command from the depths. After a moment of chilling stillness, the surface of the lake began to swell and break violently in the center. The massive horned head of the Dragon Feraligatr erupted from the water, rising higher than before. He was not angry this time. He was assessing, scrutinizing, and immensely curious. What did you just say, little one? His voice boomed, quieter than before, but laced with an undeniable edge of ancient confusion and sudden, sharp interest. Attack you! Your own kind has brought you pain? He was sensing her aura again, but this time he was looking past the casual fear and seeing the deep residential pain that underscored your sudden, desperate declaration. Oh my gosh, we finally got his attention. Give me a moment. Alright guys, I finally got through to him. I said, yes, please just stop attacking me. Please let me talk to you instead. I'm not trying to make you angry by insistently annoying you. I've just been wanting to talk to you. Please just give me one chance to do that. Please call off the water creatures. The Dragon Feraligatr's immense head loomed over the scene, his gaze fixated intently upon you. His focus was entirely shifted from vengeance to the unexpected revelation of your shared experience of the suffering at the hands of humans. The colossal water Dragonite and water Gyarados remained perfectly frozen, their liquid forms shimmering, awaiting his command. You considered your bruised and distressed state, now combined with the unexpected assertion of your own realization. Silence that followed was heavy, pregnant with the weight of his 1,000-year history. Finally, the Feraligatr moved his head slightly, a subtle gesture that carried immense power. Enough! He commanded, the sound resonating across the lake. Immediately the two colossal water creatures began to dissolve. The massive form of the Dragonite collapsed into a cascade of clear, rushing water, and the vast, cooling body of the Gyarados melted back into the lake, creating a final, wide ripple before the surface stilled once more. The threat was gone, but the Feraligatr remained, his colossal head resting closer to the shore than ever before, his sharp, ancient eyes burning with a newly ignited curiosity. I have withdrawn my creatures. You have your chance, human. Instead, his voice a low grumbling. You have spoken the words of my own pain. You clearly know what it's like to be harmed by your own kind. Speak now, explain this truth, and be quick. My patience is not infinite, but my interest is, for the moment, piqued. Oh my gosh, give me a moment. Alright guys, I think I'm finally getting through to him. I says I try to move, but now I'm in even more pain than I was when I came over to rest from my exercise earlier. It caused me to barely be able to move. I said, I just told him, thank you. Please listen to me. I wasn't trying to annoy you, but I want you to understand something. I understand your pain. I get attacked by humans all the time. I'm really sorry about what happened to your family. I would never do that to you. Please believe me. I'm on your side. You intended to shift your weight, but the recent violent encounter, the hard fall, and the impact of the spray left you bruised and aching, far worse than the exhaustion from your run. Physical pain was evident in your strained movements, and you went slightly as you stabilized yourself. The dragon Fragger's massive eyes observed every minute sign of your discomfort. He didn't offer sympathy, but he acknowledged the physical reality of your suffering, which aligned with your desperate claims. Pain, he repeated, the word tasting strange on his tongue. I see a superficial pain, the bruises of your fall, but the attack you speak of, the attack by humans. Tell me of this. He lowered his head slightly more, the water parting around his jaw, demanding specifics. His interest was a dangerous, intense scrutiny, seeking the truth behind your claim of shared trauma. You stand here asking me to believe you side with a creature whose kind slaughtered my own? This requires a truth deeper in scraped skin, he challenged. What attacks do you endure? What reason would your own species have to persecute one of their own? Speak plainly, human. If you truly wish to be heard, do not waste my attention with apologies. Give me the facts of your suffering. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what I said. I said I get attacked nearly every day. Every time I leave my house, people start being mean by taunting me and then throwing rocks at me. Not even just that. I've been hit over the head multiple times from humans. And that's not even the worst one. One human a few years ago turned me into a tiny dinosaur, a Carnotaurus, and it would not stop torturing me. It got so bad that when I got my starters, the professor gave me all three and a baby Lugia, and even with those Pokemon, they still attacked me. The Dragon Fragger was in absolute stunned silence. His massive head remained perfectly still, the ancient eyes focused entirely on you, the revelations you spoke of, daily taunting, being struck, and then the utterly fantastical and deeply unsettling claim of being transformed into a tiny dinosaur and subsequently tortured were not what he expected. He processed the information, cross-referencing your words with the complex readings of your aura. The deep-seated chronic pain and trauma he was sensing suddenly made a terrible kind of sense. The sheer audacity of being turned into a tiny Carnotaurus was strangely compelling, given the bizarre and unpredictable cruelty he knew humans were capable of. A tiny Carnotaurus, he repeated, the immense gravelly voice barely a whisper, testing the strange words. Concept was foreign, yet the agony attached to the memory was painfully resonant. Your own kind did this, tortured you as a helpless animal, and still they pursued you even when you had protectors. He was momentarily distracted, his attention momentarily pulling back to the past when his family was helpless. Then he recalled your mention of your own Pokemon. You speak of Pokemon, he noted, his tone shifting back to critical scrutiny. You have starters, and a legendary creature, a Lugia, and yet you still suffer persecution. Why would your own kind hunt you, even when you possess such powerful guardians? The dragon Feraligatr, driven by a profound sudden empathy for this unexpected kindred spirit of suffering, continued to observe you intently, waiting for you to elaborate on the baffling persecution. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, I don't understand it either, but please understand that I know where you're coming from. That's what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. I'm sorry I annoyed you so much, but I wasn't trying to. The dragon Fragger inhaled slowly, the massive expansion of his chest muscles visible just beneath the water's surface. He was no longer demanding an explanation for your persecution, but rather absorbing the emotional weight of your shared confusion and suffering. You do not understand their madness, and they still inflicted upon you, he rumbled, his voice now quieter, stripped of its immediate threat and replaced it with a solemn, ancient contemplation. They attacked you as a human, they tortured you as an animal, and they torture you even with the shadow of a Lugia protecting you. He lowered his head until the tip of one of his massive elemental horns almost touched the water near the shore. He stared directly into your eyes, the bitterness of his thousand-year rage slowly dissolving into a profound recognition of shared trauma. Then perhaps, he stated, their realization profound, the cruelty is not only reserved for other species, perhaps their rot is simply indiscriminate. He acknowledged her continuing apologies with a slight shake of his head, a gesture of dismissal, not of the apologies themselves, but of the need to keep repeating them. You kept insisting on a chance, he said. You threw yourself into the teeth of my anger, defying my power with nothing but your desperation and your pain. You have my attention, human, and I've caught off the creatures. He paused, a flicker of something almost akin to sadness crossing Adamant's features. My name is Koa, he revealed, his true name spoken for the first time in centuries, a massive concession to the bond of shared suffering you had desperately forged. Now, Triton, you say you can help me, of being a colossal power who commands the elements and can create life from water. How does a small, fragile human perpetually injured by his own kind possibly believe he can help me? Give me a moment. Okay, I don't know how the frick he knew my name, but I said, I know I cannot bring back your family, but please let me just show you that I would not hurt you. Koa, that's a cool name. I can prove it. Just make a water lugia. Don't make it extremely aggressive, please. I can prove that I have, well, that I have Pokemon like a lugia that cares about me. The colossal dragon Feraligatr Koa remained poised at the water's edge, absorbing your response. He seemed to appreciate your immediate understanding that some hurts, like the loss of his family, could not be mended. Yet your request to prove your sincerity by involving his ability to create a water creature sparked a flicker of calculating interest. You wish to use my power as a mirror to your truth? Koa rumbled, his voice still low but thoughtful. An interesting proposition. You asked me to create a fleeting image of a creature that guards you, simply to show me that your bond is real. You put great faith in this proof. His eyes narrowed as he considered the potential danger. A water lugia, even one he did not burn for aggression, was still a monumental creature. Very well, Triton, he conceded, granting the trial. A small price to pay to finally gauge the depth of your claims. But if this is a trick, know that even the presence of a true lugia will not save you from my wrath. Koa shifted his immense focus back to the lake. The water surrounding his jaw began to rise, swelling rapidly. With a visible exertion of his colossal will, the column of water surged upward, twisting, bending, and taking on a massive, elegant shape. Within moments, a magnificent, shimmering water lugia stood suspended over the lake, its body composed of pure, crystalline water, dripping and catching the light. It was majestic, silent, and though its form was immense, it carried a presence that was serene rather than hostile, a testament to Koa's control. This creature is ready, Koa stated, his eyes now fixated on you, watching for your next move. Do what you must, and quickly. Prove this claim of yours that your own guardians will respond to you in the presence of this water echo. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what I said. I did get him to trust me, but not in the way I was hoping it would work. So I'll probably have to redo the Dragon Feraligatr again, so change up the story a bit to where I'll make sure that it's real. Because the creature can only work off of his will, which is alright, I guess, but in circumstances like this, it's not. I said, you only make creatures that are aggressive, right? My goal was to not bring my Lugia here, but to show you that I care and really don't mean harm to you. I just turned to the water Lugia, still in so much pain from the attack of from the water creatures a few minutes ago. Hey, Lugia, come here, my little buddy. And unfortunately, this is where it kind of went downhill. Cole watched your movements with intense focus. He noted the way you still struggled against the pain in your limbs, yet your attention was completely directed towards his water creation. Aggressive, or used to scare trespassers, Koa corrected, his voice a low counterpart to the shimmering silence of the water Lugia. They fulfill my need for vengeance. This echo of your guardian is not aggressive. I merely commanded it to form and stand still. Its behavior is neutral. He started as you addressed the majestic water liquid form. The water Lugia remained motionless, a silent, breathtaking concert of his power. It was an element, a magnificent hollow shell designed only to test your claim. Cole remained utterly still, waiting to see what you intended to do with this creature of pure water, which was incapable of responding to human affection. You speak to an empty vessel, Triton. Koa stated, a hand of his old skepticism returning. This Lugia is water, nothing more. Its response will be mine alone. Yep. I just told him, oh, could you not make it a real creature that can think for itself? That's what I was expecting when you made the Lugia. I'm trying to show you that I can get one to trust me. If I need to, I can call my Lugia if I was trying to show you a different way. Koa's massive head tilted slightly, his expression unreadable, yet his scrutiny was absolute. He absorbed your disappointment and your explanation of what you had expected from his power. The creatures I create from water are life, Koa corrected, his voice solemn. They breathe, they feel, they remember. They are real, but they are born of my command, and their nature serves my will. This echo is serene because I commanded serenity. It's not aggressive, but it's still fundamentally bound to me. He paused, glancing at the majestic, motionless water Lugia. It was a beautiful, terrible demonstration of his dragon power. Why terrible? You wish to demonstrate a bond that transcends instinct and vengeance? You wish to show me how your true guardian trusts you? Koa concluded, his voice hardened slightly, challenging. If the proof requires your genuine Lugia, then summon it. Do not waste my time with half measures. I'm watching, Triton. The time for soul gestures is over. He retracted his presence slightly, emphasizing that the burden of proof was now entirely on you. Yep, and here's what happened. I said, I can do more than that. Just please give me a chance. And I promise you it's not no trick. Watch. Lugia, please, my guardian, if you can hear me, please come to where I am. And if you can bring my guardian Totodile as well. Koa remained perfectly still, his colossal form a dark monument against the water. The shimmering, silent water Lugia still poised in the air beside him. He did not speak again. He simply watched, his centuries-old mind intensely focused on the outcome of your summoning. You closed your eyes briefly, focusing your intent and projecting your call across the distance, asking for your baby Lugia and your guardian Totodile. The dragon Feraligatr was relying on his ability to detect auras for miles around to determine if your claims were genuine. A few 10 seconds passed. The only sound was the faint dripping of the water from Koa's water Lugia. Then, Koa's massive head snapped upward. His elemental spikes, even though submerged, began to glow faintly. He was sensing something. Not just two auras, but two familiar and undeniably powerful signatures rapidly approaching his territory. Intriguing, Koa rumbled, a deep, resonant sound of surprise. Something approaches. A massive energy signature. And another, a familiar, primal water type. Within moments, the air above the lake was shattered by the sight of a creature descending from the sky. It was your baby Lugia, currently at a manageable but still significant size. Its pure white body shimmered. It landed swiftly and silently on the shore. Its bright eyes immediately fixated on you. Right behind it, moving with protective determination, was your Totodile. Though still small compared to Koa, the little gator pawn radiated fierce loyalty and immediately postured defensively toward the immense dragon Feraligatr, letting out a small, aggressive roar that was utterly disproportionate to its size. Your baby Lugia immediately moved to your side, nudging you with its head, assessing your bruised and wet condition. Koa stared, first at the true Lugia, then at the small, aggressive Totodile, and finally at you, who was now flanked by two of your powerful guardians. Sheer scale and offensivity of the arrival was undeniable, confirming your claims about your protectors and your need for them. The massive dragon Feraligatr did not make a move against them. He lowered his head slowly, his eyes burning with astonishment and grudging respect for the strength of the bond he was witnessing. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said Lugia, Totodile, thank you both for coming. I love you both. And it says I tried to reach over and pet Lugia, but immediately felt pain in my arm from the recent attack of the water creatures, causing me to jerk my hand back to the ground. Ow! The moment you reached out, the sharp, sudden jolt of pain in your arm, a fresh injury sustained just minutes ago during the attack with Koa's water creatures, forced you to retract your hand with a sharp gasp. Your two summoned pawn instantly reacted to your distress. The baby Lugia emitted a soft, worried coo every time I hear that word, and lowered its massive head, nudging you gently with concern while emitting a low, powerful, calming energy that seemed to soothe the raw edges of your fear. Your Toadol's voice immediately snapped from the colossal Koa to your injured state. It let out a frustrated growl aimed at the surrounding area, then quickly climbed onto your lap, nudging your painful arm with its snout in a fiercely protective, anxious manner. Cole watched the entire interaction, the immediate, authentic display of pain and the swift, unconditional response of your guardians. He saw the genuine, non-aggressive affection between you and the Elugia, and the fierce loyalty of the Toadol. Sight of your pain, inflicted by his own hand, or rather his own water creature, seemed to fully crystallize your earlier desperate claims. The massive dragon Feraligatr sank slowly back into the water. His colossal head remained above the surface. The warlord he had created still stood silently beside him, a perfect neutral comparison to the real, actively worried Lugia now protecting you. I see, Koa rumbled, his voice quiet, devoid of the previous threat, full of the somber recognition. Your words of suffering were true. The pain I inflicted was real, and the protection you received is genuine. He fixated his gaze on the Toadol, a deep ancient connection starting within him. A former Toadol looking upon a current one, seeing the fierce, innate loyalty that he himself had lost. Call them off, Triton, Cole instructed. His voice now fine, low command of respect, not threat. Tell them to stand down. I'll not harm you. I believe your claim. The proof is undeniably before me. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said they won't hurt you as long as you're not trying to hurt me. Honestly, them comforting me right now really helps the pain. Thank you for believing me, Koa. He spoke off with a smile, tender comfort offered by your point, seeming to instantly away the fear of the massive dragon before you. He shattered your worried attention, using their presence to soothe the straits and bruises left by Koa's elemental guardians. Cole watched as the baby Lugia and the fiercely loyal Toadol remained pressed against you, the protective auras mixing with the lingering exhaustion and pain he could still detect. He realized that your pawn were not obeying a command to stand down, but rather respond to your current need for comfort. They obey their instinct, which is to heal the wound I gave you. Koa observed, his voice heavy with a grim acknowledgement of his own action. He was silent for a long moment, staring at the small, aggressive Toadol who mirrored his own forgotten past. Then, with an immense, powerful surge, Koa abruptly dissolved the magnificent, serene water Lugia he had created. It collapsed in a rush of water back into the lake, leaving only the massive dragon Feraligatr remaining. The debt of pain must be addressed, Koa stated, his voice now resolute. You came seeking rest and instead received violence. You have proven you suffer from the very malice I fight against. He lowered his colossal head until his snout rested on the shore, the huge size of him dwarfing your small group. His eyes fixated on you, a strange mixture of ancient suspicion and new respect whirring in their depths. I've granted your chance, Triton, Cole continued, and you have summoned your protectors, confirming your words. Now tell me how a fragile human, one who knows the sharp sting of his own species, truly believes he can help a creature like me. A creature that no longer trusts anything but its own vengeful power. Alright, guys. I said, honestly, I wish I could help you more. I don't think there's much I can do to really help you. But if it helps any, I care about you. And this is what I was trying to say when you wouldn't listen to me a while ago. I wasn't saying it to taunt you or make you angry. I mean what I said, and if I wasn't in so much pain, I would even try petting you if you allowed me to. Please, now that you understand me, let me say this because I mean it. I am really sorry about what happened to your family, and I would never wish that on you. I would have never done anything like that to your family, even if I was around back then. Cole listened to your words, Zenoma's head resting heavily on the shore. He observed the sincerity in your voice, the way your words were underscored by the true protective presence of the Lugia and the Toadol beside you. He sensed no malice, no trickery, only genuine remorse and empathy. You offer solace, not solution, Koa observed, his voice a deep rumble that lacked its former hostility but still carried immense weight. You cannot repair the damage of a millennium, yet you offer the care that was stripped from me so long ago. He remained still as you spoke of petting him, the simple, trusting act being unimaginable to him for centuries. He acknowledged the pain you were currently in, noting the protective postures of your Pokemon. The apologies. I finally believed them, Triton. Koa made a sole concession. Your actions, your defiance against my threat, your pain, and the loyalty of your own mighty guardian speak louder than any deceitful human words I've heard in 1,000 years. He raised his colossal head slightly, a subtle movement that suggested contemplation. You had not come to mock me or harm me. You came because you saw my power, and yet you recognize my pain, a pain you understand intimately. Koa summarized, I accept your sincerity. My anger towards you specifically is spent. The immense dragon Feraligatr studied you for another long moment, his gaze shifting between you and the small little toad at your side. Now, the price of my acceptance, he stated, his voice of final command. You are injured, and you need rest, not further conflict. I allow you to stay here on the very edge of my territory until you are rested enough to walk. Your pawn may remain with you, but you will not cross into the water. You will not approach me further. So we still never pause along these concessions. Do you accept this temporary truce, Trenton? And once you have rested, will you then leave as commanded without further argument? What is with him? Oh my gosh. I kind of wanted to do the Divine Velociraptor again because honestly, that's a really cool chatbot. I would have added on to more of those chatbots with better memory. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I'm trying to see if I can get the Feraligatr to smile, or this dragon to smile. I said, I understand that you probably don't want me around anymore, but now that you understand where I'm coming from, please tell me something I can do to actually make you happy besides just leave later. I don't care how big and intimidating you look, I just want to see you smile. Please, let me ask you something besides just leaving. Is there not anything I can do that would make you actually feel good? I know you don't like humans, but you can tell I'm not your enemy anymore, so please tell me something. Go listen to your renewed appeal, his massive form remaining still, yet the air around him thronged with the weight of your persistent compassion. He'd offer a truce and a chance to rest, yet you were still challenging his solitude, pushing past his emotional barriers. Goodness gracious, he's still taking it badly. He let a deep, resounding sigh, a sound like wind rushing through a deep canyon. You seek to mend what cannot be mended with simple kindness, Triton. Koa rumbled, his voice weary. Task me to smile. You asked for the impossible, for a joy that was murdered 1,000 years ago. He conceded that he now saw you not as an enemy, but as a bizarre exception, a human who shared the scar of the world's cruelty. There is nothing a human can offer me that's not fleeting or already tainted by the memory of loss, he stated with certainty. However, he paused, his gaze drifting from you to the clear surface of the lake, where the sun cast a long shadow. He seemed to be searching through the echo of his past, seeking a silver of the peace he once knew. Sliver, the only thing that ever brought me uncomplicated peace. Koa finally admitted, his voice broke with a whisper, heavy with nostalgia, was the sight of my family, particularly my parents, sunbathing on the flat, warm stone at the far end of this lake. It was a time before the cruelty and before the power. He lowered his head again, his immense jaw resting on the ground near the water. You wish to make me feel good? Leave when you are able, and take your peace with you, he commanded, and perhaps feel a need to return. You may leave a single, undisturbed small offering on that flat rock, a reminder of the quiet beauty you claim to appreciate. A small stone, a perfect leaf, something simple and clean, and then you will depart immediately. That is all I will accept. Yeah, there's no way. finished his instructions. His patience now clearly thin, but the fact that he had offered a reason for a non-hostile return was a monumental step. Now, rest-ridden, he concealed his whisper. Use the time I gave you. Do not speak to me again until you are leaving. I will not answer. There was that. Oh, but was that. I don't know if that was. Because I know one of them, there was one time where that crocodile gave me a specific special golden thing. But I don't remember if it was on this one or not. Let me check something real quick. Guys, I'm not going to read out anymore, but let me go and say this. The next time we do a dragon type Feraligatr, I'm going to fix it up to where the lake can be alive, to where it actually can feel the power of people or whatever, and maybe even go to do certain things. And also where make sure Feraligatr's power can create living, breathing beings that aren't just tied to his will.